Hey guys, it's me Delta One here with Airsoft Talk, and we're gonna be doing some tech ideas and some stuff that are coming up here very soon. So let me copy this stuff and put it on the book of the face. Paste. Why not my story? Come join tech ideas. Share. This content is no longer available because Facebook does not like you. Awesome. And of course it posted it. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. All right. Oh, man. Hopefully I'll have somebody join. But I've been doing a lot of talking with a good buddy of mine, Disguised Enemy, and bouncing some ideas off of him. And one of the things that's always fascinated me in terms of a tech idea, and I had this idea a while back, and it was utilized a lot in paintball, and I only briefly spoke about it with Disguised because he was the only technician at the time that I understood that would have him and a few other people, but I didn't talk with them much. They were kind of they kind of kept to themselves a lot. Is when you pull the trigger, right? So if you take the trigger, you pull it, it fires, and it goes and fires, which is called a binary trigger in the real steel firearm world. And it was first introduced, to my knowledge, could be just talking out of my ass, is paintballers used it quite frequently. And that was like their main way to go paintballing, because it was called walking the trigger, which now is in Speedsoft. Ugh. That was what you would do. So, but in the firearm world, it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread, because you have a fun switch now. But God forbid we talked about firearms. Welcome to the stream, the person that just joined. We're talking about binary triggers. So I was speaking to Disguised Enemy. We're just going to call him Disguised for the sake of this. Hey, whoever liked it, you're awesome. Like it helps me out. Is making I don't even want to attempt to pronounce your name. So, or actually, I am sure. Did I say that right? If not, what's up, dude? I was talking to him, and I've got some experience with a Titan, and we dropped one into a Lancer Tactical Interceptor, and it, the change that Titan thing does is just incredible. It really helps you keep up with people who have HPA guns. And so I know that we weren't pushing the full potential of this Titan. So I talked to Disguised, who's a much better tech than I am. He's like my Bible that I go to for tech work. Santiago. What's up, Santiago? I was just wondering why. I need to get rid of that picture. Anyways, I will say that in a moment. My opinions on HPAs. So I know that Titans there's so much more potential in a Titan than what is actually there. And so I was trying to figure out how I can turn that into what is called a binary trigger. So when you pull it, it fires, which is one mechanical movement, which is still considered one round, one pull of the trigger. However, what most people don't know is releasing the trigger is also another mechanical movement. So by going and firing twice, it's still considered semi-auto. So I did some research with Disguised, and he told me how to make that happen. So whatever your rate of fire is on semi-auto regularly without a binary system, double it. So basically going like, going like that, you can easily get into the 15s, even the 18s, even 20 rounds per second on semi-auto for CQB, which I know may seem cheap. It's a workaround, and it's for people like me. But here's where I'm going to start talking about HPA. HPAs are a great innovation. It is something that's nice. What's up, Julian? I remember you from last time. Chill, bro. So HPAs, they are a great innovation. I remember making a video on Airsoft Talk many years ago saying how it's going to completely change the game. It's just significantly, it's a huge leap. And there's a problem when you get into big leaps like this. If you spread that gap between what is already here and pre-existing, it's like going from driving a Corolla to a Corvette. There's a huge difference there. And you can make a Corolla go as fast as a Corvette without a problem. However, that requires an immense amount of work. And, there's that. So HPA was great if the user itself, person using it, is actually willing to put himself in a situation where he's going to be fair about it. My biggest complaints is at a technical aspect. Is you put a 0.2 in it, because back when HPAs first hit the market, you put a 0.2 in it, it'd shoot 400. You put a 0.40 in it, it's going to shoot 350. There's no drop off, so you have to go by a joule rating, and no one was doing that at the time. So that was my biggest complaint. I was like, well, I could get 550 out of this, be a sniper, and shoot 500 with a 40, which is just you break people's guns. And I almost bought a gun just to specifically do that because of how bad cheating was. I know that sounds like a really bad thing to do, and it is. It's awful. And I never did it because because I'm an honest person and I'm nice. And I could never push myself because there was a way I was going to do it. I'd never get caught. Even if I had my tank capped off at that FPS. What's up, Ben? And so, which you can't get them anymore. The original BioVal BBs were ceramic glass. They are not anymore. So there was the first 3 runs of BioVal BBs were indestructible. It's a ceramic glass ball. So I've seen pictures, and there's a picture of a dude shooting his 1400 feet per second HPA gun that he did a bunch of stuff to. Hit concrete with the BioVal BB, took a 3-inch chunk out of his driveway, picked the BioVal BB up, didn't even have a scratch on it. It was still good. You could still shoot it. So HPA, the problem I have with HPA is people get those speed triggers, and then they speed soft. Okay, Airsoft wasn't necessarily meant to be a paintball style of sport. It was meant to be more realistic, kind of like a Rainbow Six Vegas style game, stuff like that. It was meant to be more realistic, fun, just to have a great time, just go out and do that. And my lighting is complete dog garbage right now. Okay. So HPA really broke the game because, one, you don't have to worry about your rate of fire because it's the touch of a dial. You can switch that, which, okay, fine. But when you start, having people who have it as a sniper setup and people get mad, you can't control the user. And the problem is the user accessibility during game is too available for that. And it should be a lot higher regulated in terms of being able to off the fly change something. And it really leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I went to a speedball event, or a Speedsoft event, just to see what it was. And I was just dumbfounded. I was like, this is paintball. This is all this is. And that's not what I feel that the sport of Airsoft is. But I'm not going to knock you if that's what you like. If that's what you want to go and do, that's cool. But however, I like the fact that Airsoft remained as more of a milsim style, way to do things. I play Airsoft for more realistic, kind of looking wise, and you show up with these people who are in neon like uniforms and all this stuff, and that's primarily what HPA users are. And it's really frustrating because that's not what airsoft is, and that's what it gets branded as. I personally think HPA is a nice thing from a tech standpoint. Like, I would love to own one just because they're so easy to maintain. But I also don't like the fact that I've got a scuba tank I have to carry in my back and a hose, which is going to come undone. And I've got to worry about that. Like, as a support gunner, it was completely ideal for me. I would have ran 30 RPS at 450. That is all I wanted. And I wouldn't have to worry about overheating motors. I wouldn't have to worry about any of that. And I went to a paintball field to play when I was playing at my height. And it would have been great because it would have been $10 for air. But I would go through way too much ammo. And at the time, HPA was not efficient enough. And the tank sizes I would have had to carry would have just been ridiculous. Like, I would have had to carry two, like large full-size HPA tanks. I would have had, it was just something that I just didn't want to get into. And for the price I was going to pay up for, it would have been more economical to go with a AEG. Because one, I got free motors all the time, and I knew I burned them up like religiously. And I was like, yeah, and partially because of that was because I was doing stuff that you weren't supposed to, like doing 2-minute trigger pulls, like all day. Like, there was only one time I had my RPK not break down, but I was shooting over 65,000 rounds in a day. Like, that's how I like to play. I just like to be ridiculous. Like, I'm just going to sit here until you guys realize you're going to have to go somewhere else. But that's my thoughts on HPA. I'm not a fan of it. And it's kind of like KWA users back in the day. They just have this ego with them. It's like, oh, I have an HPA. And like, I've met quite a few that aren't like that. But for the majority of it, not that I'm profiling, but like most HPA users just have this, I'm just better because I have an HPA. That doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I can take a Lancer Tactical and put a DSG in it. What, and that's my standpoint on HPA. So I hope that answers your question. I'm just call you Perez because I'm dyslexic as hell and I can't pronounce your first name. But anyways, my tech ideas. The binary, that's happening. That's going to happen. Like, I'm doing that this week. Like, I'm modifying a Titan to do that because that just really gives you a step ahead when you've got an HPA gun on the field, especially in a CQB situation, and it helps balance the teams out. So that's happening. Also, the dual AK idea. I took the stock off this thing because it weighs literally probably 6 ounces more than a high Kappa Dragon, 7 point whatever. So there's that. The dual AK, I'm debating whether or not completely scrapping the idea and going with just a printed receiver and going with that, or just doing 2 AKs as a proof of concept, move to a printed receiver and go from there. Because that way, because my biggest thing is with what I'm going to have them set up as, I need current and I need a lot of milliamps. I need 3,000. So what I'm going to end up doing is having 4 batteries. You heard me right. 4 batteries. I'm going to have a stick type 2000 up here, being an 11-1. And what I'm going to have is they're going to be, so on the TN style, you see how there's 4 set screws? I'm going to have a bar that connects over to the other one so I can have 2 receivers mounted together and keep some form of rigidity of them not wobbling apart, and probably rig something up for the pistol grip. It's not going to be like the classic Army, which I did find out more information about that thing. The piston. I got to look at the piston and how some of that stuff works. Have you ever thought about? See, that's something else I was getting into, but I need a bigger 3D printer like platform. And if I did create my own airsoft gun, it would be using a SAW gearbox because they're just better. They're just so so amazing. Which would be some like horrifically off figured looking thing. And what I would probably end up doing, which I would love to do, is trying to figure out how to get something like that to feed is a whole nother thing. What I would love to do is take a saw gearbox, throw it in a Barrett body, and you heard me right, a Barrett 50 cal body, chop the barrel off all the way to the back where the rails stop, and create a custom drum mag. Do you think that HPA was given a bad name due to more teenagers using HPA and adults in CGB arenas? Yes. That I can go off on that. I can give you an elongated answer that would be like 30 minutes, but I'm just going to keep that short. Go, yes, I do think it does. Because you're a teenager. You just want to win. Someone like me, if I had an HPA, I wouldn't go all out. I would nerf myself, and I would make it more of a challenge in order to compete with the people I play. I think you should keep things fair in order to play. It's no fun if you win all the time. And it's also no fun if you win if you're going to have a better gun. What would you prefer to create? Assault. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, I would shove a gearbox, saw gearbox in there, and there's battery space for days. I'd create some sort of like 3,000 or 4,000 round drum mag and run it like kind of like an assault rifle. I don't like reloading. I think it's stupid. But that's just me. I've been talking about some tech ideas. I figured out how to make a Titan function like a binary trigger for real steel firearms. So when you pull the trigger, it fires. You let go, it fires. And working on the dual AK, which I should get back to that. So what I'm going to end up doing, like I said before I got off topic, is in each one on the top cover, I'm going to put a 2,000 milliamp 11-1 on each one. So I'm going to figure out a wiring diagram so I can parallel batteries and put a 2,000 milliamp battery. If I can fit one in the stock, two of them. So I'm going to bridge something over on the stock prongs and have a single stock prong in the center in between the two. So I can shoulder it like this and have two AKs down the barrel. But I want to have 4,000 milliamps so I have the current and the capacity to run what I need to run, because high torque motors, which I'm only using high torques, demand a lot of power. So I'm going to have to be doing that. No, I'm going to keep that a trade secret. Unfortunately, because if it was back in the day, I wouldn't. But I mean, with the competition in our area, it makes it hard to I need more in the terms of, not that I'm trying to be like mean about it or whatnot. It makes it easier for us to say, you know, we have certain things we could do that you can't. And like I said, Evite could do a whole lot of stuff that we can't. And that's, you know, and that's them. But again, this is still a prototype. We haven't even done it. Literally going to be doing proof of concept this week. Yes, I would have no problem doing that for you if you've already got a Titan. That's totally fine. Do you know how to install a trigger? Like, that's all I need to know. If you can install a trigger, I'll modify it, send it to you. So with the AK, though, that's what I'm going to end up doing so I could keep my capacity and utilize everything. I'm going to go with plastic bodies. I'm going to make it as light as possible. That's what I'm going for, is a super lightweight, you know, just this size. That way, I could, this is more or less a response to me seeing what Classic Army is doing and going, I can do that better. Because from the videos I've seen of other users that are not manufacturers, out of the right side on the right barrel of the dual Classic Army M4, whatever, it has constant feeding issues out of the right side. You see BBs falling out, like in US Airsoft, his video, you constantly saw BBs falling out of the right side of the gun. And so I actually, does anyone know that's watching this know if I can like put I'll post it on Facebook and then I'll link it into the description. Give me a moment. I'm gonna link a video or how. Hold on, give me a moment, guys. CAM. Post. All right. Really, can I? Copy. Let's go back to YouTube. All right, guys, check out this link. If you're not a friend with me on Facebook, add me. So that is a picture of the Classic Army dual M4 piston. It's really interesting. My only problems is if you guys go look at this picture, the biggest issue that I see there is it's using 3 gears and a monster torque motor. Supposedly it's using 2 springs. Again, this is all the information I have. Uses 2 springs and it's got a single gear set and it's got to have a monster of a hell of a torque motor. And there's already been the ideas of dual sectoring it. But the issue I run into is that since that isn't 2 aluminum pistons, 2. Well, it looks like we have a customer. Stand by. Stand by. What can I do for you? So basically, this is like have you ever played airsoft? Mm-hmm. So we have an indoor airsoft field, 10,000 square feet. We do birthday parties. We have a membership. So $40 a month, you come play as much as you want. Bring your own gun. Yeah. If you bring your own gun, it's just 40 flat. So if you have a membership, it's $15 to rent. What if you're not going to play? $15 to rent. It's 35 to play. You get 1,000 rounds. You get a gun, which would be one of those. I apologize for the mess. We stopped shipping in before Christmas. So you get that. You can go in there and play. You get 1,000 rounds, mask, vest, and ammo. So.
Well, I mean,
No, it's a lot of fun.
yeah.
If you come Thursday, if you come Sunday, I can do Thursday. I'm here on my own time right now because I found out we got a shipment and luckily our neighbors were nice enough to grab it because we weren't here. So there's that. But no, it's a lot of fun. There's no mess like paintball.
Yeah.
You don't have a scuba tank or a fishbowl on your so you don't look stupid. Right? So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're gonna definitely bet.
No, it's also nice to install reality into like middle schoolers who think they know how the world works and you just like, oh yeah. Oh, the Army in 2 minutes? I'll sell it to you right now. It's mine. 25 of those. They go for 60. Yeah, our busy days are Saturday and Sunday.
Well, the contact has
Which one? Sniper? Oh, the AK right there?
That's what you get.
No, I recommend AKs over M4s. Internally, they're a better design and they're more accurate. And it's funny because M4s are more accurate in the real world. Airsoft AKs, they're way more accurate than the M4s. No, and if you want to go to our competitors, it's an hour and a half. And it's more money. And your time limited too. And they charge you twice, you know. There's an airsoft place on Richmond. No, that's Warriors. Yeah, Warriors is up for sale. They're up for sale. They ain't making money. No firearm store right now is making money. No, when a Republican's in office, nobody buys that. I'm a gun broker outside of this. Yeah, yeah, nobody's buying guns right now. And if they are, it's dirt cheap. Unless you're doing real steel AKs, for whatever reason, those are. There's no one that makes these now. For whatever reason, third world countries can make AKs, like, no problem. America, we can't do that to save our money. I don't stick to that AKs here. No. And firearms are a great investment. Yeah, every gun I bought is worth double. And that's within 8 years. Brands, so I like it. As much as I don't like Glocks, they're not comfortable, they look basic. I like Panics, but I will recommend a Glock. Glocks are fantastic. They will work all the time. I've owned mine for 3.5, 4 years. I've never cleaned it. I've abused it. I've thrown it around. It's yet to not work. That is mine concealed carry down shorts. Yeah, there's like a million of them. There's like, so for a while they were working on a prototype Glock that would do like 50 AE, but they couldn't get it to handle the case pressures. So y'all actually caught me in the middle of a live stream. So it's fine. But yeah, no, this is something I built from the ground up. This is modeled after a rare AK during the late 50s, early 60s for the Spetsnaz. So they're just rare. But this one, to give you an idea of how old this is, manufacture date for this is actually 06. This is discontinued and the company doesn't import anymore. So it's not worth anything, it's just rare.
So does he have wing shoot?
I mean, you ever been bit by a bee or a fire ant? About that much.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is one of our hot sellers. We've gotten like 8 of these in, and they don't stay for more than 2 weeks. 145. And then look at this. So you like the flash front of it? You can choose to have that or that. Comes with a battery.
I feel that.
So it comes with a battery, magazine, ammo, and a charger. You're ready to go. No, one of our employees who's a tech in training, he bought one of these, and he competes with like $2,000 guns with it. But he also dropped a $200 trigger in it. So like some airsoft stuff can get expensive quick. Like I've got an AK that's like $1,200. But here's the thing, I was sponsored by like 8 companies, so I have like less than $100 in it.
Oh, man, you gonna definitely see that.
But yeah, no, come, bring
The whole
the
family.
fan. If you bring 10 or more, I can cut the price down to $28.50.
Okay, gotcha.
That door. Y'all have a great night.
I see you too.
All right, gentlemen, I apologize about that. If y'all are in the stream, did any of y'all look at the picture for the classic Army thing that I put in the link? There's probably some of y'all that are like, add me. All right. I'm so glad you can't see what I'm reading. My friends are sending me stupid messages. Yeah, I did. I'm really interested on it. It would actually be better design. Well, see, the problem is if you put the spring in the middle, that would off-center it, and then it would make the M4 look ungodly massive. So it would look stupid, which I don't care for M4s anyway, so I wouldn't have given a crap. And yes, I gotta say crap because YouTube will demonetize me. By the way, this video is sponsored by Dr. Pepper. It's quite refreshing. 23 flavors of pepper. It's great. Anyways. But no, it's a really weird design, and I just don't like it because that piston's going to weigh way too much. So if you get a fast rate of fire, you're going to do pre-engagement. If y'all don't know what pre-engagement is, it's when the gear that engages the piston engages a tooth too far ahead, and will just strip it the heck out. So the picture we saw are OEM parts. So that means there will be replacements. The tappet plate itself looks really weird. And so I just was like, that's just dumb. Like it would have made more sense to have like a hybrid gearbox shell and have two like things together and just have a fat pistol grip, or move the trigger somewhere in the motors, and it just would have made more sense to do that. But people got to be convenienced. So what did you say, Julian? I find it strange that it only has one motor and gear set. I thought they would have been enough room for two motors. No, because it uses like a standard modified lower receiver. So they opted out of that instead of having some crazy custom gearbox, because that costs so much more money to make. It probably would have been an extra $200-300 more if they would have gone that route. So they were trying to keep it affordable, and like I wouldn't buy one of those unless you were a technician, because it's just not going to work. I just don't see it working reliably. What will be interesting to see is if they allow them in CQB, because one pull of the trigger fires 2 rounds, which is considered burst. But there's also the talk of Titans, but if you put a Titan in it, it's cycling too quick and you run risk of pre-engagement, which would strip the piston right out. So I didn't like that, and I was like, I can do that better. It will be ghetto, though. At a standpoint, when you make something like that, it needs to be reliable. Like, you got to sacrifice something somewhere, and reliability shouldn't be one of those things. And that's one of the problems I have with that, is that you shouldn't sacrifice reliability. That should be the bottom thing to ever sacrifice, unless you're just strictly building something for a wall hanger. Like the 240 over there, in my opinion, is a wall hanger, because you can do the same damn thing with an RPK or a saw. And those are much better and more viable options. The M60s are a raging pile because they use some stupid ass MOSFET. And the PKM, you need to be a tech. It's not reliable. Never got mine to feed. So apparently it's already hit the market. Apparently there's only 5 of them, and they're out for reviewers because Classic Army has such a poor reputation. They used to be great because everyone was like, oh, I got a TM. This is a plastic body, but I got a TM. And then Classic Army was like, boom, metal body. And upgrades were available, so that's why Classic Army was popular at that time. But as of today, it's not really a brand you go to and go, oh, this is going to be great. You know, it's like I would recommend a JG over a Classic Army, because JG makes some good stuff. They have for years. As a technician, if I was to build a really cool gun, I would buy a JG. I wouldn't get something nice. You'll notice if you have any techs in your area or people who tech a lot, they'll have one nice gun and they'll never want to use it. Because for whatever the reason, when you're a technician and you get a nice gun, it just, for whatever the reason, doesn't want to work. No matter how hard you put effort into it, you know, all that. And then they'll be like, well, here's some experimenting I'm going to do. I'm going to use like a plastic body JG stubby, like M4, one of those. And it just is the bee's knees. And when you finally use your nice gun, it just breaks for whatever the reason. So like my VFC that shoots like 65 RPS doesn't work right now. And it's set up perfectly. And it's just so annoying, just electrical problems. And it's just, that's why I was about to just go, you know what, screw this, I'm getting a Titan. Are you going to buy a, you know, if one came to me at a price that I couldn't turn down, like $200, yeah, I would do it just to like work on it as a technical aspect and see how I could make it better. Because again, my biggest fear in this is they used aluminum pistons, but they had a good reason for it. I just don't see polycarbonate piston housings being strong enough. It's just not strong enough because you could have a spring at an awkward off angle. That's another reason I don't like that design is if one spring is a little less like worn down and one's worn down and the other one isn't as worn down, you would get your pistons going like this. They would go like that. And not that drastically, but enough to where it would wear like this. And then you're in the picture. If you're just joining and listening to this, there's a link in the description. I'll post it again of the dual barrel Classic Army M4 piston. So when you get your, for the sake of this, you get your sector gear. This is what engages your piston. So imagine your piston teeth engaging it at a cockeyed angle like that. Even a little bit, that's enough to break this, let alone strip out the piston or break it. So my problem is it being too heavy, its return rate and going forward fast enough or actually coming back, you're just going to have so many issues. So I don't see it being reliable without a lot of work. So Swiss cheesing that piston, which would be the most ideal, to take as much weight out of that thing as possible to give you the quick trigger response and increase your reliability. All right, what company makes the best AK? E&L, apparently. I remember messing with their first generation, and I was quite pleased. As a gun that you can buy, upgrade, and use, E&L and LCT. Real Sword is still coming in somehow. E-Vike has got them, and they're like $475. They're not very upgradable, but it's an AK you could drop off your roof and know that it's going to be fine. From my understanding, they're made in the Norinco factory, or were made in the Norinco factory, and are not made in the Norinco factory anymore. Who knows? But I took my Real Sword Dragunov to a gunsmith because the ATF claimed you could turn it into a real SVD with some work, like guide rails, trigger steer kit, dropping a trigger, just an immense amount of work. You're just using barrel and receiver. That theoretically was doable. I took it to them. They said it wasn't, but the materials could theoretically hold up to it. So that being said, had some credibility for once the ATF actually were saying something that they were like, yep. So VFC, if you can find one. Absolutely. I love VFC. VFC was the first company that catered to techs. I absolutely adore and love my VFC. It's sitting on the shelf right here collecting dust. That's why I'm probably just going to break down, buy a Titan, and just be like, okay, cool. But I don't want to drop the $180 some odd dollars for a Titan. I just think that's insane. So I'll probably find a used one and just pay like, I don't know, $70, $80 if I can find one for that. But yeah, piston slap engine. I just read that. But if you're going to go buy an AK, if you can find an RKO, like any of the D-Boys, RKO1, RKO6, whatever, WS. As long as you have the WS at the end of it, it is a complete VFC clone. And those are just as good. The finish and some of the how it's assembled maybe look a little sloppy, but it's the same thing. We're working with a firearms company that does coding, and I'm going to have a couple of guns coded to show like, hey, this is some stuff we could do for y'all. They cut us a deal so we could pass that on to somebody else. Have you seen the GBLS -4? I don't even know what that is, Julian. If you don't mind, could you link it in the description? I don't know what it is. What do you think about bullpup Bullpup scar. I thought about that when I read your comment. I read your comment, Isaiah. I remember that. I thought about. All right, everyone, take a look at what Julian linked. So I thought about the bullpup scar, and okay, it just GBLS USA rifle. Is this like super realistic airsoft gun? I watched a video on this recently, and like I haven't done a lot of research. I saw the bolt came back. I like the fact that it comes with Deans. That's nice. Like that's very nice. It's finally someone's like, hey, Tamiya connectors blow. I think it's great for a training aspect, but at the price of $1,580, Jesus, dude, I can buy like there's a company that's like down the street from me that manufactures real ARs for $550. I guarantee you, if I bought 3, he'd do it for $15. Ah, dude, screw that. I'd buy one of the real ARs and get a couple thousand rounds of ammo and an optic. No. I would never buy one of those. So the bullpup scar, I thought about how I could get that to work. I would have to print out some sort of custom boot for the end of the scar and remove the stock. Finding a place to put the battery would have to be wired and go up to the front. You'd have to run like a PEC box. Or if you're me and don't care, you'll just strap on a 5,000 milliamp 11-1 and put it in like a Mac pouch. I just, if you're going to build a gun that demands power, don't strain it. That just makes a gun. No, I'm not going to entertain the idea. If you're going to build something custom like that, you've got to understand you're going to sacrifice looks. It is doable. However, moving the trigger forward, you would have to wire the trigger up to the front onto like a foregrip. And it can be done. If you want to send me a scar and pay for the research and development, I'm more than willing to tackle that project. I will not touch anything inside the gearbox shell other than wiring it to the front. Which it would be totally doable if you bought a Titan and we made a housing for it at the front and made that the trigger box. You could easily make that thing just dope as hell. Like that's something we could do. I would have to figure out and measure, print. This would take months and of printing, measuring, reprinting, making something that's functional. It would have to go in through the back. And probably where the stock hinge was, we'd have to put a pin and enter it through there, and it would be 3D printed. It's doable. It's completely doable. I looked them up. Someone actually did it. Unfortunately, I'm poor. Do you have a link to someone who did that? I'm going to Google that. Bull pup scar. Jesus, that looks amazing. Who did this? Oh, SRU 3D printing. Dude, they ask an astronomical amount of money. What'd be funny is if I bought one and then bought a 3D scanner and scanned it and just made it myself. However, scanners are like thousands of dollars. Because if you get a cheap one, they're just absolute trash. And for those who, because see, here's another one someone built. This looks custom done. A drop-in skit with a fire selector moved forward. Oh, that's for a real one. Oh my God. It looks cool. I mean, Maybe. I'm sure you could with some. No. Not on the GBB one because the gearbox is there. So you have to account for the gearbox because that motor sticks down. There's no way it would work. Ooh, almost left. But no. So I'm more about crude looking guns destroying people who have nice stuff. Dude, I'm not a fan of gas pistols. I own one gas pistol. It's a raging piece of shit. And it's a Tokarev. And it was such a sad, pathetic attempt at it. And that was when KWA first came out with it. Yeah, they have that double barrel Makarov. I messed with one. I actually went to Evike's store and got to mess with it, and I was like, ooh. But I actually have one of the real EFK Spetsnaz holsters, and I looked at it, and if I was to put it in that thing and actually use it and operate with it, it would just destroy it. It would rip the safety off and just crack the slide, probably. Which is entertaining to me. I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like you're not gonna find like because I just got my I did my license to carry course, so I'll probably be carrying something like a Star Model BM, a Star BM. Which, if you are thinking about getting into firearms and want to buy an affordable pistol, Star BMs are fantastic. They're basically a German reverse-engineered 1911 made into a Colt Commander and a regular full-size 1911. They're fantastic. They're accurate. They are made by Germans in Spain on German machines. As far as I'm concerned, it is an HK pistol. Sub to Poods. Exactly. Everybody, go subscribe to PewDiePie. You, sir, are amazing. Whoever this dude is. All right, I have an Umarex Makarov custom fitted to a fob defense with a slightly modified. You do? Do you have me on Facebook? Thanos? Add me on Facebook because I've been thinking about buying one of them fob defense pistol grips. Yeah, send me one because I want one of the. I was really because I don't like having to reload like that, and I actually plan to. I actually have one. I'm getting used to carrying a holster. That's actually what I have on me is a custom leather which fits. Where is it? I'm gonna grab it. Where are you, Mr. Pile John? Really? Oh, there it is. This raging pile. I hate this thing. KWA. Completely worth ass. Hey, man, PewDiePie deserves it, dude. By the way, there's no ammo in it. Yeah, it's not locking back now. Of course it does after I... hate this gun. Piece of junk. But this fits in my little Mac holster that I wear. Yeah, I have, okay, Chick Z. You have 108. What? Tips. Okay, cool. Oh, look, everybody. The tech master has joined us, disguised enemy. Their 1911 CO2, I remember back in the day, that thing was a workhorse. However, I do not like the disgusting price of a Umarex Glock. Jesus, $200? It's almost $200. Like I have literally seen used law enforcement trading Glocks go for $229. Real steel Glocks, $229. If you pay attention and look for law enforcement trade-ins, they're cheap. You can get them cheap. Cheap. I don't understand. Glock has this thing for being like, oh, I'm a Glock, so I'm gonna make sure people pay my royalties for my trademarks. It's gonna be like, I think they settled a deal for like $18 million or something like that, just so it's like for royalties or some BS like that. It's stupid. They were the last people to cave. HK caved because there were so many HK guns people wanted, and we were just like, it's either gonna happen or not. So it just happened because they were. I'm assuming they were fed up and tired of suing people. So, raging piece of junk. And what's funny is this is the only airsoft gun or pistol I know that doesn't have a safety. Like the real one, like the safety's right here. It's in the top of the trigger guard. It has to roll down. So like if you just hold the trigger solidly, it won't push back. You have to pull down right here and it goes. Terrible. Anyways, so that being said, let's go back to some more tech talk. Okay. That is not the kind of stuff we chick see. That's not okay. I will ban you. That is your first warning. We're not a meme. I don't know. That's the guy's name. Whatever. I don't know who it is. But anyways, that being said, I do really want to try the binary idea that Disguised helped me figure out that we are going to keep between ourselves. So before you type anything, Disguised, I'd like to keep it on the down low because he's the one who told me about it. It's not hard to figure out. If you figure out how a Titan works, it's not hard. It is one of those things you want to keep to yourself, though, because you're just like, ooh, like, I don't want other people having this. This would be unfair. I'm doing this to balance out the HPA issue we're having at some of our local fields because it breaks the game. So that being said, however, I have thought about that was one thing I wanted to talk about. Disguised, can you link the that spiral hectical gear set that you were talking about that just eliminates all the gear whine that I think it's Lonex makes it? Makes your gun like stupid quiet or something. What are the most insane airsoft guns you've seen? Not like realism wise, but stupid craziness. Make no sense. I've seen a completely 3D printed. Okay, so binary Titan. So when you pull the trigger on a gun, okay, show. Do I have options? Participants. back. Trying to figure out how to make. Okay, there it is. Disguised, you are now a moderator. You have the power. How's it going, D-Ray? I responded to some of your comments. Add me on Facebook. I can tell you more about Mikey. I can't disclose it at a mass level of how he's doing because he is very much so in the military. So that being said, guys, check out this link that Disguise put. That Disguise. So this was another thing I was going to try out on the channel. Disguise, if you want to leave a comment just so I don't mess that up, what the benefits are to this, because from my understanding, you told me it made stuff quiet. I love how on Evike it's got a California Proposition 65 warning cancer and reproductive harm. How? My Facebook is Adam Delta Smith. Let me link it real quick. There's less backlash between the gears, so they don't make the normal whining noise to such a degree. It's the way helical gears work, just in a spiral in this case. So the question that I'm Disguised, you can answer that because you know way more about this than I do. I'm just publicizing this information. Binary Titan, you start talking about and stop. Someone's really excited about this. So do you know how a binary trigger works, Farnos? Or Finos? Message me on Facebook, Finos. Add me. Okay, send me a message on Facebook. So just so I can remind myself to give you more details about this later on and more in depth. So binary. So how a binary trigger works, of course, I'm going to grab one of these combat machines. So binary triggers. On real firearms, they operate like this. It was first introduced by paintball. So when you pull the trigger, it fires. If you hold the trigger down, nothing happens. When you let go and you physically let the trigger go forward, that is still one act of it's still a secondary act. So it's considered semi-automatic. So when you let go, it fires. So boom, boom. It's not a burst. It's in semi-automatic because semi-automatic is declared by pull the trigger. So it has to require a second act to fire again. So you can still hold while aiming, right? You're aiming and then you let go and it fires again. That's still another act. So therefore it is not a burst. Therefore it is not full auto. Therefore it is semi-automatic. So that's what Disguise helped me, because I asked him, can I do this to a Titan? Disguise told me how, it's going to be awesome because it's going to be so ridiculous. You're just going to be able to go, like your gun will start engaging full auto. That's the funny part. Someone who had this, he was hitting the trigger so fast, the gun started acting like it was on full auto. But as soon as he held the trigger down, it stopped. So he was going, and it sounded like full auto. But as soon as he kept holding, if he held the trigger down, it would stop. Should work. Is that what you're saying? Disguised, it should work? Because by God, if it does, dude, I'll buy a Titan. I'll be so happy. I'll go and buy. So that's another thing I wanted to ask you about, Disguised. I haven't tried it, but in theory it could. Well, damn it, I'm going to try my best. There's a few other ways I was thinking about modifying to make it work, but I'll discuss that with you later. So basically you can pop off 15 rounds on semi-automatic with no problem. like semi-automatic, 15 rounds a second. That is my goal. That is my benchmark. My goal is to hit 20, but that's going to take a lot of money. Still cheaper than a Polar Star. That's the goal. Come in, shoot faster than a Polar Star on semi-auto, and cheaper. That's the goal. I'm not taking any claim for this. This is all disguised. He was the one who I asked the question, he instructed. So it should be interesting. Really interesting. I don't have a tank because I'm not playing on a battle. I got 2 Titans, but I still see, I swear that on BTC Crimea's or whatever. Disguise, do you have any information or know anything about the MOSFET he's talking about? Because I don't know what he's talking about. Send me a link. I'm just not about doing clickbait. I mean, I might because I did the Stunt Studios. I mean, I've got some crap ones here. Oh, God. That we had from when we first opened the store. So what are your thoughts on them though? Like what does that MOSFET do? That's what I want to know. Oh no, I don't want to leave this page. I would rather get a Titan. This is far more complicated. Far more complicated. Way more complicated. Get a Titan. I would just get a Titan. I know they're expensive, but they're so nice. So, but yeah, back to that gear set. Adding that would quieten it down and make it better. So, I mean, favorite custom guns. You're like, besides your AKs. When I first really got serious, I bought a G3 and I'm going to end up selling it. It was a classic Army full metal G3 with a rail system. And I really always loved the idea of a G3. It's, you know, big, like big caliber, you know, full battle rifle. I'm a big believer in a full, if you're going to carry a rifle, you might as well carry a full size rifle. Bitch later about how heavy it is. You know, I like the idea of having any gun, like the bare minimum barrel length for a full-size gun that I would ever carry would be 400 millimeters. It's just so much easier to reach out and touch some people when you have the tech knowledge that I do. I know you can go further on shorter barrels. There's other ways to like cancel that out. but I also like the idea of having a 500 round capacity. I don't like going anything below 500 rounds because when the style that I play, I shoot a lot and I miss a lot, but I shoot a lot. And people know me. So, and that gun that gun's got some ancient parts in it. It's got a Sistema Magnum motor. Oh my God. It's like full Sistema, and it's got a Promi barrel. It's got a feeding issue. I just need to fix that. I think it's because something to do with the barrel. E-Vikes Tex made it way back in the day, so I'm pretty sure the shimming is complete ass. Just terrible. But overall, I mean, it should do what I want it to do. I'm probably going to sell it for like $300 with like 5 mags if I can get $300 for it, but I doubt it. If it was up to me, I'd rip the Promi barrel out of that thing and then sell it. But are there any amazing CQB long hitting guns? I mean, if you use a 300 mil barrel, I mean, you can get some good distance out of a 363 millimeter barrel, 363 millimeters standard M4. Wait, you love versatility. Wait, so I'd even put an elongated barrel and cover it with a mock suppressor or something. I love versatility. So you're looking for something that can go back and forth and do both. You could get an AKS 74U, something like this with a wire side folder. The little AK pistol I had running around, the little AK-74Us, and put a mock suppressor on there, and you could fit a regular AK barrel on there. Maybe a 400, 450, which will do both. But that's the thing about a Bullpup AK. You get a crazy good barrel out of that thing and do CQB, which is why I'm trying to make one. I appreciate it, man. I want to catch up with you. Your comments have been nice. I feel like I should know who you are. Those I've used at fields with 300 mil barrels at 400 FPS and was able to achieve 200 feet without a problem. That to me, it's a great barrel length. It's smaller than an M4. Same barrel length. I just prefer those. Like, they're just better. We talked about a CA, the M4. Have you seen the A&K Crytek Chris Vector gearbox? The thing looks weird as well. Also have seen no MPOs. Link me what you're talking about. I've been gone for a while. So if you don't mind, send me a link. One moment, gentlemen. Let me mute my mic. I have to take Sorry about that, gentlemen. AJs are made. Oh, if they're made in Russia, fuck, I gotta get one. What? Oh, they're worth it. They're immediately amazing. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely worth it. Oh, I hope these people. Oh, how much I hope these people. Oh, I got the K6-3s. What? Yeah, translate all this, Google. You could buy goods here. Well, duh. I'll have to buy it through Red Wolf. Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. With scars, Isaiah, you get what you pay for. Get a good one. Don't get the cheap ones. I don't care about the internals as long as I can say it's a full Russian gun. I have to keep this PG. Those women. Whoa! Good Lord, look at that price tag. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. This is ridiculous. Whoever, I don't know, whoever turned me on to this stuff, you are a true gentleman, my sir. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. This is everything I could have ever asked for. Where was this in my prime days? Don't tell me they're selling. Oh my God, they're selling real Zydeco rails. Oh, Zydeco rails, guys, are like some crazy, crazy expensive stuff. Like really, really expensive. Like really, really expensive. Oh man, I shoot real AKs, man. Getting real plum, like real Bakelite stuff, that's expensive. My Lord. But yeah, no. Real steel AK stuff, man. That's one of my passions. I've got a Vepr AK, and it's just absolutely amazing. Like, let's open up another tab on TubeView. The EPR5. See if I can find this video. Yeah. Copy.
Beautiful.
Check this out. Wolf makes garbage ammo for real guns. And look what this guy does with Wolf ammo out of this at 500 yards. It's just absolutely amazing. And if you watch that video, and no, they're not Russians. That dude's Romanian. I'm not gonna buy one, dude. For that money, I can get a real gun. I can't justify that. If one walked across, for the right price, yeah, I'd buy it. So what you just watched was, this is a Vepr AK.
Ooh, beautiful center mass.
That's a real steel AK that you used to be able to buy. You can't get them no more because thank you, Obama administration, and Trump administration, for banning importation. Stupid. Dude, 500 euros comes out to almost $700. Are you saying the cheap BBs they have? No, dude, that's a real gun. In the video I linked you, Wolf ammo is trash. It's dirty. It's inconsistent. For real bullets. Real 7.62 by 39. And so I watched this video and I was like, I'm sold. That dude is like the Bible of real steel AKs. Fantastic dude. He's really nice to his subscribers, and he gives good information. He doesn't tell you what it is. He shows you. And he goes, if I'm wrong, hell, tell me. And so I went out to my buddy's property, and there's like 800, there's a rock at like 800 yards. And for giggles, we had a 50 cal ammo can and a BDU, and that's all we used to rest it, in a PSO scope. And we used a rangefinder and hit this rock with the rangefinder at 800 yards. So I was like, why not? Let's give it a shot. Fourth round, hit the rock. Kept hitting this 4-foot wide rock. 800 yards out of a 16-inch barrel AK. Was like, my grouping was like 4 feet. But the fact of the matter is, dude, I went 800 yards on a cartridge that is designed to 300 at optimal. 500 is pushing it. No, Wolf has been around forever. It's an ammo manufacturer, now manufacturing AR parts and stuff. That's real gun stuff. Wolf is real steel, not airsoft. So there's that. So I'm probably going to pick up one of those spiral gear things because it's a good idea. I'm going to try it out. And I'm going to go from there. I'm going to do the Titan binary trigger mod. I might go public with this information. I might not. Not trying to be one of those dudes. It's just there's some things where it's like this really helps people financially to keep it more on the down low. However, if you were to order one of these triggers from us, you're going to immediately know the moment you look at the trigger. Like, you're just going to be like, oh, that's how you did it. So I will sell the triggers because it'd be easy to do. However, if you buy the trigger, you install it. Not me. Always never understood why, like, when you put in gas this way, oh, it works. Huh. That's a first. Price for installation? Well, first you'd have to ship me the gun and ship it back, pay for shipping back. If I've got to crack it open, that's I've got to see what it takes first, but it shouldn't be anything more than like 40 bucks for labor. You're like, if it works, I'm buying it. However, this can work for more than just AR triggers. So there's that. So it's going to be interesting. I've told no AK Titan. No, it'll work in AKs. Do I have one yet? No. Will I? Yes. I might just ask for one for Christmas. Just be like, oh. Because if I get a Titan, I'm putting it in my VFC DS, my dual sector gear VFC. Like, I've talked so much about it. Let me just grab it. Not like it's like way the hell out of the way. Stupid bolt. So VFC AKs just love to not cooperate with you on their bolts. They're not long enough, which I'm probably going to snag one off of another and put it on there. But here's the VFC DSG gun that I was talking about. So you can even see the barrel sticks out. This is a 363 mil barrel. So it's a full-sized M4 barrel. It's R-hopped. I need to find a screw for this. It's got one of the old Titan motors from Lonex before they went bad. Not bad, but they were too torquey. Unfortunately, one of the MOSFET wires came disconnected and it doesn't work. So it's got two MOSFETs on it that Disguised Enemy made. So, like, see? It disconnected. I don't know how. I could probably take the heat shrink apart, extrude like very carefully. But see, I've got a MOSFET here, and then I've got a MOSFET here. So this one's like a self-resetting fuse kind of. And this one protects the triggers and does all sorts of other goodies. No bursts or anything, just it makes the gun work way more efficient. Ah, you're still here. It's a red 30 amp fuse. I thought it was like self-resetting or something like that. Since Disguised is still here, maybe he can help me figure out if I can get it back and working. So I don't know how this happened, but the wire came out of the FET. Any way I can fix that? So what is the fuse? What MOSFET is this? Like, what does it do? Disguised, it's been so long. Looks like you actually pulled the resistor with it. So just make sure you solder where it came off. Okay. I have real shaky hands, Disguise. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Let's see here. I'm actually going to open this up. Oh, that's the... It's shooting like 260. Yeah, it looks like a little like copper wire. I can see where it's soldered on there. Let's see here. Carefully take this apart. Knowing you, Disguise, you would just been like... I have an X-Acto blade. There it is. I'm just super nervous to like cut into this. And since my tech, like, whatchamacallit, the Tech Master Disguised, who knows everything apparently, in my opinion, he does. X-Acto blade, courtesy of Harbor Freight. Good Lord. Oh, Jesus. Disguised, how hot can this thing get before it fries shit? Because I'm working with like maybe a 1/16 of an inch of material. Well, the soldering point is still there. I can still see copper. Let's see if we can get this to work. Okay, you keyboard. Do you have a replacement you could ship me? Because I don't have any. Because what I could do is splice cut what I have currently and just put in a new one. Actually, guys, would y'all be interested in me trying to see if this works now? Would y'all want me to continue the stream, try and solder it and see if it works? Like, I would need all 7 of you to confirm this. Yep, except for Disguised. Fix it until it's broken. Okay. Oh, let me get my soldering iron. I'm going to cut a spare wire. Actually, I'm going to dip this son of a bitch in flux. Why the fuck do I not have power? Oh, there we go. Put that there. All right. Let me find. I had 2 things of wire. If not, I've got a scrap wire box. That'll work just fine. All right. I gotta figure out where the hell my heat shrink went. I can't do any of this without heat shrink. Damn it. There it is. All righty. Actually, no, I'm gonna cut a longer piece than that. That was way too short. All right, Farnos, you take it easy. Actually, can I spread this crap open? Shove that shit in there and then put flux on it. No, I can't. All right, gentlemen, I'm gonna angle you guys down a little bit. Disguised, would it hurt to put flux on the little piece right here? So don't put flux on this piece, just on the wire. This is going to get really interesting. I'm going to grab vice grips. Debating if I should I add this or just use what was I already have. Should I add more wire disguised or just use pre-existing? You're right. Let's add this. Should be enough heat shrink. Although to give it some more rigidity, I'm probably going to double up on the heat shrink. All right. This is the most unideal. God, that's at an awkward angle. Okay, I need to find out where my hot point is on my soldering iron. Jesus. Oh, that's fucking wine. This is a piece of shit solder iron. Ugh. Jesus, why won't this melt? Hold on, I gotta I gotta reform my tip because it's just not wanting to go. Let me grab a knife. I gotta clean the tip off. All right, disguised. And what I really need to do is just cut this bastard. All righty. That is much better. Or so I say when it's clearly not doing shit. What am I doing wrong here? Okay. All right, it stuck. All right, ladies and germs. Now I gotta find a lighter. All righty. She's back together, gentlemen. Didn't think it'd be that easy, but all right. Ah. Ah. All right, so we're going to be connecting two 2,000 milliamp 9.6s together. Oh. My hop-up unit pushed out. Gotta find something that... Yes. It lives. Oh. Now I gotta... Okay. I'm gonna electrical tape that. Yeah, I've got to find something to put in between the so there's like a spacer that goes in between. Actually, I might know where one of those is. And that's on a 9.6. That ain't on 11.1. The VFC will live again with a battery taped in the stock. Yes, it works again. Thank you, Disguise. Tighten this bad boy up. Now we got to figure out why it does not work on semi-auto. So oh, I'm so happy. It lives. I'm so happy. Ooh. Should probably turn off my soldering iron. Okay, that's off. Alrighty, guys. I think that's going to conclude this stream. The people who I messaged to talk to me on Facebook, please do so. Other than that, life is pretty good, and my AK is back. Please like the video, subscribe, share it. Helps me and helps grow my channel and helps me do giveaways, which are coming back. Free stuff. Share all my videos. Make giveaways possible again. And with that, gentlemen, I bid you adieu.